You're listening to the Dibbly Dobbly Podcast. Remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, and click the bell to make sure you get the latest episodes of the podcast. Be sure to like and share our Facebook page as well. Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Dibbly Dobbly Podcast. On today's episode of the podcast, we review the ODI series between India and England. It's the Dibbly Dobbly Podcast, and let's get started. Let's have a look at the series results from each of the ODIs in this ODI series between India and England. The first ODI, India won by 66 runs and Shikhar Dhawan was named man of the match. The second ODI, England won by 6 wickets and Jonny Bairstow was named man of the match. The third and final ODI, India won by 7 runs and Sam Curran was named man of the match. India won the series 2-1 and Jonny Bairstow was named man of the series. Let's have a look at both teams' performances in this ODI series with both bat and ball. Let's have a look at India's batsmen and see how they did in this ODI series. Rahul, 177 runs. Dhawan, 169. Pant, 155. Kohli, 129. Hardik Pandya, 100. Krunal Pandya, 95. Rohit Sharma, 90. And Iyer with 6. Let's have a look at their bowlers. Thakur took 7 wickets. Kumar and Krishna both took 6 wickets. And a wicket each for Natarajan and Krunal Pandya. And no wickets for Hardik Pandya and Kuldeep Yadav. That's how India went about things with both bat and ball in this ODI series. I was very impressed with the way India played in this ODI series. I thought they played some very good cricket and showing us why they are one of the best teams in one-day cricket. What I like about their team is that, they've got so many talented players. We saw that from India with the bat and the ball in this ODI series. They've got so many talented players that can do the job with both bat and ball. And we saw that in this series. I was very impressed with Rishabh Pant for one. I was very impressed with him. I thought he batted superbly. The 2 games he came in, he didn't play the first game. I think he should have played the first game. But the 2 games he came in after that, geez, he batted superbly. Some of the shots he plays, unbelievable. I don't know how he does it. But a superb performance from Rishabh Pant in this ODI series for him. I thought KL Rahul batted well. Good to see him scoring runs again and getting back into some form. Shikhar Dhawan, a reliable opener. He's done pretty well in this series. Good form, and he's in good touch and good form, so that's good for India. Virat Kohli, he did pretty well in this series, scoring runs, scoring 50s, so he's definitely cashing in with the runs. Hardik Pandya, we know what he can do. He's a good talent. His brother Krunal, the same. He did pretty well after making his ODI debut in this series. Rohit Sharma showing his class as well. So their batting side is pretty good, India. Their batsmen, to score 300 runs 3 consecutive times in this series is a pretty good effort from their batsmen. It just shows it was a pretty good batting surface in Pune, and it was. And they cashed in. So there'll be some areas for India's batsmen to improve on. I thought in the last game they should have got a lot more runs than they did. At one stage they were probably going to get up towards 400. But they managed to get 329 all out. So I think there's some areas for their batsmen to improve on. But besides from that, I think they're going well nicely. And I thought, they really performed well in this ODI series. Let's have a look at their bowlers and talk about them. I thought their bowlers did pretty well in this series. I think the only game that they really struggled, the Indian bowlers, was probably game 2. Where England just teed off and scored runs at will. That wasn't their greatest day with the ball, but in game 1 they did well to bowl England out for 251 after England were none for 135. They did pretty well to bowl them out for 251 and win that game. I thought in the last game they did pretty well to defend and win this last game by 7 runs. It did go down to the wire, but the bowlers held their nerve and pretty much got the job done for India. So, I thought game 1 and 3, they pretty much bowled well. Game 2, they struggled, and that was probably their worst performance with the ball in this series. But what really impresses me about this Indian bowling attack is that they did it without the big names. They did it without Bumrah, Shami, Jadeja. You know, they didn't play in this ODI series. And the bowlers that they picked for this ODI series, they got the job done. And that's the great thing about this bowling attack from India and this Indian team in general, is that whoever they pick in the side gets the job done. You can always rely on them to get the job done for you. And for Virat Kohli, you know, it's a brilliant position to be in. You know, he knows that whoever comes into this Indian side, they will do the job for him and for the team. So that makes his job as captain a lot easier. So I thought overall the bowlers bowled pretty well. Great versatility about this Indian bowling attack. They've got great skills. Everyone's different. Everyone's got different skill sets. They all bowl different deliveries and variations, and you know, it just adds that versatility about this bowling attack. So it's a very good bowling attack, in my opinion. Once again, we saw India bringing in players and debuting players. Obviously, Krishna and Krunal Pandya impressed on ODI debut. Krishna taking, wickets on debut. He took 4 wickets, I think, in the first game. Krunal Pandya made a 50 in the first game, making 58 not out. So they're going to be very great players for India in the future. Overall, a pretty good effort from India in this series to win 2-1. It pretty much ends a dominant summer from India. They won the Test series against England 3-1. They won the T20 series 3-2. And now they've won the ODI series 2-1. So it's been a pretty dominant summer from India, and they should be happy with their results this summer. Let's have a look at England's performance with the bat and ball throughout this whole ODI series. We'll start with their batsman, Bairstow, 219 runs. Stokes, 135. Roy, 115. Sam Curran, 107. Malan, 66. Livingston, 63. Moeen Ali, 59. Morgan, 22. Billings, 18. And Butler, 17. Let's have a look at their bowlers. Wood took 5 wickets. Stokes took 4. 3 wickets each for Topley and Rashid. 2 wickets each for Sam and Tom Curran. And a wicket each for Livingston and Moeen Ali. So that's how England went about things with the bat and the ball in this ODI series. How to describe this ODI series from England? I think they'll be pretty disappointed with how the series went. To lose the series 2-1 is a disappointing result. Yeah, it's just been a frustrating series for England and for the whole tour of India. In fact, it's been a very disappointing performance in this one-day series. We'll start with their batting performance in this series. We'll talk about their batsmen. I thought their batsmen did an okay job in this series. In game 1, they sort of struggled. Obviously, they were in a good position to win that game. None for 135, then to be bowled out for 251 wasn't a great result, so a massive batting collapse there. But the batsmen managed to put it together for the second game, and they batted superbly, and they won that game and took the series to a decider. Unfortunately, they lost early wickets again. They were 4 for 95 inside 15.1 overs in this last game, pretty much on the back foot. But Sam Curran's innings of 95 not out nearly got England over the line, and that was the positive from this last game. So, yeah, it's been an up and down sort of performance from the batsmen in this series. But what we saw in this series, we saw the best of Bairstow in the second game. Same with Ben Stokes in the second game. Jason Roy did alright. He scored a 50. Sam Curran batted superbly in the last game. Darwin Malan did well, scoring a 50. Liam Livingston did well, making his ODI debut in this series. Moeen Ali scored some runs. Morgan only played the one game, and same with Billings. Josh Butler struggled a bit. So, yeah, it's been a bit up and down for England's batsmen. But probably their best performance, England, in this series was probably the second game. I thought they really batted well as a unit in the second game. They learnt a lot from the first game. They were a bit smarter in the way they chased down the runs in the second game as a batting side. We saw some brilliant striking from Bairstow and Stokes in that epic partnership that pretty much sealed the game for England. So I think that was England's best batting performance in this series. I thought in Game 1 and Game 3, they pretty much struggled, losing wickets, and that doesn't help when you lose wickets early. That puts you behind in the run chase. But I thought Game 2 for them was their standout performance with the bat. Let's talk about their bowlers. I thought their bowlers did all right in this series. I thought they bowled okay, but they could have bowled better. They struggled at times. They were bowling on really good batting surfaces in Pune. So all bowlers were going to go for runs. Their lines and lengths were a bit inconsistent at times. They didn't really bowl to their field at times either. Their death bowling needs a bit of work, I think. In Game 1, they leaked runs towards the back end of the Indian innings in Game 1. Same in Game 2. But I thought in Game 3, they managed to pull it together and did all right in the death overs in this last game. But it does need some work. It doesn't help when Jofra Archer is missing from this bowling side, from this bowling attack. He's a really important part of this England one-day bowling unit. Having him not there is a big blow for England. But they did okay in his absence, I thought. But they could have been a lot better. Overall, it was a disappointing result for England. They thought they were going to win this ODI series and end the tour of India on a positive note after losing the Test series 3-1, after losing the Test series 3-1, then the T20 series 3-2, and now to lose the ODI series 2-1 is a disappointing result to pretty much end this tour of India. It hasn't been a great tour for England, full stop. From the Test matches to the T20s and now to the ODIs, it hasn't been a great tour for England. But they'll be disappointed with how this tour has gone and this ODI series, but they'll definitely learn a lot as a team from this experience and hopefully get better for the future. It's been an excellent series of one-day cricket. Both teams have gave it their all in this series. We saw some very good cricket between the two best sides in the one-day game. India and England have shown us in this series that come that World Cup in 2023 in India, they are going to be very hard to beat. India will be pleased with their 2-1 series win, and it caps off a dominant summer for them, winning the Test series 3-1, T20 series 3-2, and now the ODI series 2-1. For England, they'll be disappointed not to win this series, and it caps off a poor tour for them. But they will learn a lot from this as a team going forward. But overall, it was a great series of one-day cricket. Well, that's the end of the innings to close the play for this episode of the podcast. Be sure to subscribe and click the bell to get the latest episodes of the podcast. And like and share our Facebook page. Until next time, keep safe and bye for now.